All right, so today's a little bit of a weird day. Yesterday we had a snow day, which means A through L missed in-person instruction and M through Z missed asynchronous instruction. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to get you all on the same page. I'm going to briefly review what both of you did Tuesday and Wednesday with affirmative two commands. And then we are going to skip that last part of your note packet. I know I left the IOP and DOP part. I didn't do it on Tuesday or Wednesday. We're still going to leave that blank and we're going to move on to a new note packet. I say packet, but it's like 2 pages. So the negative two commands is what we're going to learn about today. We're not going to do IOP and DOP just yet. So we learned about affirmative two commands the other day. So I'm going to go ahead and review that quick since we did have a snow day. I just introduced it. So remember with affirmative two commands, where they're phrases used to tell someone what to do. And again, this is most likely in this chapter going to be a parent telling you to do a chore, or maybe you telling your younger brother to do a chore, or maybe you telling your dog to sit or to stay, things like that. So they are used when talking to people you are familiar with, such as friends, family, or people the same age or younger than you. So I always say peers, pals, and pets. They're used amongst your peers. Say, for example, the person next to you dropped a pencil and you said, hey, get that pencil, or hey, pick up that pencil. That's a command, okay? So we are going to also use them with family. So again, a mother possibly telling her son what to do. And then pets. So, telling your dog to sit, stay, so on and so forth. Okay, the way we form the affirmative two command is by putting the verb in the el, ella, usted form. You have 2 ways to remember it. If you want to remember it this way, it's the el, ella, usted form. If you want to remember it a different way, it's the to form without the s. So whatever way helps you remember, either way we get the same answer. The word you is implied in these phrases. You do not write it. So you're not going to say tu lava la ropa. You're just going to say lava la ropa. The only thing that you can put in front of it is a name. So I could say lava la ropa, or I could say, for example, Juan, lava la ropa. Okay? We did some practice. Okay? The command for dar is da, ayudar, ayuda, arreglar, arregla, lavar, lava, comer, come, and escribir, escribe. Of course, because it's Spanish, we have to have some irregular commands. So some of these words will follow a pattern. Most of them are yogo verbs. When we have yogo verbs to form affirmative two commands, all you have to do is chop off the go from the yo form. Remember that ir and ser are not yogo verbs, but they are irregular in affirmative two commands. Also, the verb traer is a yogo verb, but is not irregular, as in affirmative two command. Here's our irregular chart. And if you remember the other day, I taught you the little jingle, ponsal, ten ven, as, se, ve, di. Again, if you want to write that down, ponsal, ten ven, as, se, ve, di is going to be your 8 irregulars in an order that might help you. We did a little bit of practice as well. So for example, set the table for our dinner, pon la mesa para nuestra cena, have your homework tomorrow, an irregular, ten tu tarea mañana. Remember, all these 7 are practice for irregulars. Come here, ven aquí, leave now for school, sal ahora para escuela, put the night table next to the bed, pon la mesita al lado de la cama, do your chores now, haz tus quehaceres ahora, go to your room, ve a tu cuarto. Okay? Now we are moving into negative two commands today. So a negative two command is a command you give when you tell someone not to do something. And TV timeout before we continue. This is your new notes packet that I posted in this folder. So you're going to open up the new notes called negative two commands notes in order to fill those in from this PowerPoint that I'm teaching you right now. And again, if you miss any of it, feel free to pause it, go back, replay, whatever you got to do. The conjugations of this form is a little bit more complicated than the affirmative two commands, but we have 3 steps. Number 1, give me the yo form of the verb. So let me use an example. Bailar, to dance. I'm going to give you the yo form. It's bailo. We're going to chop off the o. We are left with bail. And then you are going to add the opposite to form ending. You are going to add es if it's an AR verb, and you are going to add as if it's an ER-IR verb. Okay? So we call this the yo-chop switch. Okay, yo-chop switch is going to be your little trigger for me to tell you a little shortcut to remember how to form the negative two commands. So yo chop switch is how you form the negative two command. Give me the yo form, chop off the o, and switch the endings. If it's an AR verb, we're adding es. If it's an ER or IR verb, we're adding as. So hopefully this makes sense. You must be careful and thoughtful when doing this for these reasons. Stem changers. You will have a stem change. Stem changing verbs are going to stem change with the commands, the negative two commands. Yogo verbs, instead of just dropping the go, we're only dropping the o. So we're keeping that G on there. So we end up with things like no tengas, no salgas. We're going to leave that G on there. And cargarzar verbs, the spelling changes do occur that would normally occur in the present tense. Please remember that you must include a no in front of the command. You can't just say salgas. You have to say no salgas. You have to say for hablar, no hables. You always, always, always need the no in front of the negative command. Now to practice. In column number 1, I want the yo form. Number 2, we're chopping off the o. Number 3, we're adding the opposite ending. So we have 8 examples. So here we go. Hablar is going to be yo hablo. Chop off the o, add the opposite ending, no hables. Leer, yo leo. Chop off the o, add as, no leas. Vivir, yo vivo. Chop off the o, no vivas. Hacer, yo hago. Chop off the o, no hagas. Dormir, yo duermo. No duermas. Okay? Jugar, yo juego. Chop off the o, no juegues. We leave that G on there. Because remember, some of these are irregular. 7, almorzar, yo almuerzo. Chop off the o, almuerces. No almuerces. Lo siento. And sacar, yo saco. Chop off the o. It changes again. There's 2 stem changes here. So not stem changers. Cargarzar changes here. So no saques and no almuerces. Notice those are a car verb and a zar verb. So cargarzar, the bottom 3. Notice the spell changes. Now, those examples that it gives there, those are the only ones we'll be using, probably. So just memorize jugar, almorzar, and sacar. You definitely need sacar this chapter because we're talking about sacar la basura, to take out the trash. Okay? Of course, there are some extra irregular negative commands. There are a few that are even more irregular than the stem changers, yogos, and cargarzar verbs. And I'll give you a second to write these down. Ir, we know is irregular in the affirmative two command form. Ve, we have no vayas for our negative two command. Ser is say, no seas. Saber, no sepas. Dar, no des. Okay, again, since it's only 3 letters, we chop off the AR and we have des. And lastly, estar is no estés. And complete the chart with the affirmative and negative command. If you don't mind, pause this video and try this on your own. I want both affirmative and negative, so we're going to practice. So pause this video and you are going to do 1 through, I believe, 10. Yeah, 1 through 10 on the left-hand side. Give me the affirmative in the first column. Give me the negative in the second column. And here we have the first column. Habla, lava, saca, se, corta, limpia, arregla, da, ve, and trae. And in the third column, no hables, no laves, no saques, no seas, no cortes, no limpies, no arregles, no des, no vayas, no traigas. Okay, so this concludes this PowerPoint. So at this point, you should have your whole notebook, or not notebook, your whole note sheet filled in. And now you have 2 worksheets to complete. One is an affirmative practice worksheet. One is a negative practice worksheet. Okay, so you're going to complete both worksheets, preferably on Cami. Share them with me in one email. When you click the share button, please remember to make it so that I can view it. Okay, so make it viewable publicly. You have to click one of the buttons on there so that it's not restricted to yourself. Okay, please make sure that I can open them, and send both links in one email, please. And that's going to complete your work for today. So A through Z, you should all be at the same place, should all be caught up to each other. And don't forget, you have your vocab quiz on Tuesday. Okay, I will talk to you all again on Monday. Don't forget to report at your designated class time. Not designated class time, I apologize. At the designated times on Monday, for me to check in, take attendance, and give you the lay of the land for the last 2 days of class. And then that will be it. So I will see you guys or hear from you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.